Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make these granny squares. Now these squares start off as a circle and then you make them into a square like this. For these ones I've used this yarn. I'm going to bring my camera up a bit. So for these ones I've used this Turkish yarn. It's called CC Babe. It's 100 grams. It's acrylic, 100% acrylic. The colour number on this is 55010 for this. I got this from a company called Good Vibe Yarns. But it's beautiful yarn. It's nice and soft and look at all those colours. And I've chosen that yarn so that you can see what it looks like in different colours, this little square. I'm going to show you how to make these pretty squares. So the first part of this circle square, it starts with a circle and then we're going to turn it into a square. I'm going to do a magic loop and then we're going to put 16 UK treble crochets into the middle of the stitch. So I'm going to start with a magic loop. I've got the tail end of the yarn on my hand. I'm just going to wrap it around under that one and pull the working yarn through like that. It's a little bit like a big loose slip knot. Now you can chain 4 and slip stitch it into a ring and then work inside the loop that way. So we're going to chain 3 to start with. I'll come down a little bit. We're getting into the autumn and the winter is coming in quite quickly. So I've had to put my overhead light on. We've got a little bit of shadow here, but just don't worry, it won't detract from the video. We're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. That's your first UK treble crochet. So into this ring you're going to put another 15. So yarn over and through, put your yarn over again, pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over into the loop and pull your yarn through. You've got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over and through 2 loops. Now you'll do that until you've got 16 stitches inside this loop. And count that chain as 1. That's 1, 2, 3. So I've got my 16 treble crochets in here. Now if you're in the USA, these are double crochets for you. I'm going to pull the tail tight, and that's why it's called a magic ring. It pulls it in really tight. Now into the 3rd stitch of that chain of 3, count 1, 2 and 3, into that stitch we're going to slip stitch. You're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now chain 1 more, that makes 4. That counts as 1 treble crochet and 1 chain. So into the next stitch you're going to put a treble crochet. Chain 1, into the next stitch, put a treble crochet and chain 1. You're going to do that all the way around. Treble crochet into the next stitch, chain 1 and treble crochet into the next stitch, chain 1 all the way around, and you should have 16 of these little legs inside your circle. Chain. So I've done my last one and my chain 1. Now into the 3rd stitch in that chain of 4, remember we did the chain of 3 and added an extra one for 4. So into the 3rd stitch, 1, 2 and 3, you're going to slip stitch into that stitch. Now I've done a chain 1 here, and that closes off your centre. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to slip stitch. Pull the stitch up just a little bit so it's not too tight. We're going to slip stitch into that space. You're going to chain 3. So that counts as 1, 2 and 3. No, that's 2. 3. Into this space you're going to put another 2 treble crochets. We're going to put clusters of 3 treble crochets into each chain space. So that chain of 3 counts as 1 stitch. So that's us got 3 in there. We're going to move to the next one and we're going to put 3 in there all the way around. 1, 2 and 3. Into the next space put your 3 treble crochets. 1, 2 and 3, and you're going to do that all the way around. Put 3 treble crochets into each chain space. If you're in the USA, these are double crochets. Put 3 into each chain space all the way around. So I'm at my last space and I'm going to put my 3 treble crochets. 1, 2 and 3. Now where the chain is, 1, 2, 3, count 3 stitches up and slip stitch in. And that's what we have. We have this. So what you're going to do now, you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. You're going to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, and into that third space there you're going to do a double crochet. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. You're going to skip 3 stitches or skip 3 of these, 1, 2, 3, and into the next space do a double crochet. If you're in the USA, that's a single crochet. You're going to do that all the way around. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 3 of the stitches, 1, 2, 3, and into the space do a double crochet all the way around. 1, 2, 3. Just pull it apart and skip 1, 2, 3 and double crochet into there. 1, 2, 3, skip 1, 2, 3, double crochet and double crochet. So you're skipping each of the little sets and going into the space in between in your clusters. 1, 2, 3. You'll skip those 3 stitches and do your double crochet. Now when you get back to the beginning, you're going to do your double crochet into the bottom of there, just into that space. Skip your 1, 2, 3 and do your double crochet in to there. And this is what you have. It looks like a little flower. I've got some pieces of yarn here. I've got 4 pieces of bright coloured yarn. So into here, this first space, I'm going to mark this as a corner. We're going to make this into a square now. So put a little marker in. That's your first corner space. Count 1, 2, 3 loops. Then into the 4th loop, put another little marker. Just use a little piece of yarn or a stitch marker. I'm using the yarn because it's quieter. When you use a stitch marker, it rattles on the workspace. So I've got a marker, 3 spaces, then a marker. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3 chains, and into that 4th chain we'll put another marker. This is marking out your corners. So you'll have 3 chains and then a marker into the 4th one. So here 1, 2, 3 chains, and into that 4th one we'll put our last marker. I'm going to take that first one out because it should be in a chain space. 1, 2, 3. That should be in that chain space there. So where your loop is, you'll put your first marker here, then you'll count 1, 2, 3, put a marker in the 4th one, 1, 2, 3, and in the 4th one put a marker, 1, 2, 3, and into this 4th one we'll put the last marker. We should have 4 markers with 3 chains in between. So you've got 1, 2, 3 chains in between each marker. Now these markers are going to be your corners. They're going to be your corners. So I'm going to put my hook back in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn just so I can slip stitch back in there. Pull my stitch up so it's not tight and slip stitch into that chain. Now turn your work back again. Just turn it back. It's just so that we're in the middle of this chain here. I'll leave that marker just now. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 3 treble crochets into here. We're going to move to this next chain space and put 3 in there. Move here, put 3 into this one, and move there and put 3 into there, and then I'll show you how to do a corner. So we're going to put half a corner into this first one. So what you're going to do now is we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. That is a double treble. Into these corners we're going to put double trebles just at the beginning to make it square. So you've got a double treble here, that's 4 chains. And beside this chain you're going to put 2 treble crochets. 1 and 2. Now we've made half a corner. That's half a corner. Into this next chain space you're going to put 3 treble crochets. So that's 1, 2 and 3. Into the next one do the same, put your cluster in, that's 3 treble crochets, 1, 2 and 3. Into the next one put a cluster, put 3 treble crochets, 1, 2 and 3. Now to make a corner you're going to put 2 treble crochets, UK treble crochets, and 1 double treble. So 2 treble crochets, that's 1 and 2. I'm going to take my marker out just now. Now we're going to wrap twice around your hook, 1, 2, and go in to that same chain space and pull your yarn through. So it looks like you've got 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over and through 2 loops, yarn over, come through 2 loops, and yarn over and come through 2 loops. So this is what's going to help turn this circle into a square. You're going to chain 2 and do another double treble. So twice around your hook and into the same space. Yarn over, come through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over and through 2 loops. And then you're going to do 2 treble crochets. So that's 1 and 2. Now this is the only round we'll do that, because we're going to make this into a square. It helps it go into a square when we've got two larger stitches here in this part. If you don't, it kind of stays like a sort of circle square, if you know what I mean. So this helps it to go more squarish. So into the next chain, you'll do your 3 treble crochets. 1, 2 and 3. So into the next one, 3 treble crochets, 1, 2 and 3, and 3 into the next chain. 1, 2 and 3. Now we're at the next corner chain, so I'm going to take my marker out. It's one of the perils of doing crochet when it's winter time. It starts to get dark faster. So into this one you're going to put 2 treble crochets, 1 and 2. You're going to wrap your yarn twice and do a double treble, a UK double treble. If you're in the USA, these are just trebles. It's the same stitch, just a different name. Yarn over, through 2 loops, yarn over, through 2 loops, yarn over and through 2 loops. Chain 2, 1 and 2. Remember, we're doing a corner, and do another double treble. We're going to put 2 treble crochets in here to complete this corner. 1 and 2. And there you go. Now I find that gives you a bit of a better kick off to make this square. Once we do the next round, it will straighten it right up. So you're going to put a cluster into this chain, a cluster into this chain, and a cluster into this chain. And your cluster is 3 UK treble crochets. 1, 2 and 3. Now if I'm going too fast for you and you're crocheting along, you can pause the video. There is a little icon down there where you can actually slow the video down as well, but I think it slows the speech as well, so it sounds strange. 1, 2 and 3. 3 into the next chain space. 1, 2 and 3. Then we'll do the next corner. Take my marker out. So into the next chain, I'm going to put 2 treble crochets, 1 and 2, 1 double treble, 1, 2 around your hook, and in, through 2 loops, yarn over, through 2 loops, yarn over and through 2 loops. And you're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and build the other side of the corner. Start with a double treble. This is the only round that will do double trebles in. Then your 2 treble crochets, 1 and 2. This yellow is quite bright for my lights. A cluster into this chain, a cluster into this chain, and a cluster into this chain. Now remember, at this corner we've already done half of it. So do a cluster of 3 trebles into this chain space. A cluster into the next chain space. And a cluster into the next chain space. 1, 2 and 3. We'll take the marker out. You can put the markers back in if you're just a beginner and you need to know where it is. So into this space, remember we've done the chain of 4. The chain of 4 is your double treble. So into here we're going to put 2 treble crochets, 1 and 2. Now we're going to put 1 double treble in to finish this corner. Through 2 loops and through 2 loops. Chain 2, 1, 2. Now remember we've done the chain of 4 at the beginning. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3 and 4. We're going to slip stitch into that 4th stitch in that chain, and that gives us our corner. Now don't worry if it's still looking a little bit on the round, it won't once we do this last round. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to pull my stitch up. I want to go back to that space. Pulling the stitch up lets you come around to the middle of a stitch and you're not crammed into the corner. I'm going to turn around just for a minute and I'm going to slip stitch, slip stitch through and just slip. Turn it back. Now that puts us right in the middle and it saves us from having a big bulky joining stitch over here. So we're going to chain 3 this time. 1, 2, 3. We're not going to do any larger stitches. Now into here you're going to put 2 treble crochets. That's 1 and 2. Now these stitches are hiding that slip stitch for you. We'll finish this corner when we come back round. We're going to skip over to this space here between the clusters and you're going to put 3 treble crochets. 1, 2 and 3. Now you can make this square as big as you want it to be. Now that's that side. We'll finish that corner when we come all the way around. Space, put your 3 treble crochets. 1, 2 and 3. 3 treble crochets into the next space in between your clusters. You're going in between into that space. Put your little granny stitch in. 1, 2 and 3. Now you'll notice that I don't do a chain in between my clusters. Once you've made this and you've washed it, once it's washed, if you put a chain, I found personally, if I put a chain in between these clusters, my squares go wavy. They go too big in between the gaps and you end up with it going like this. It goes too wide or it puckers in like that because there's too many stitches along there. It looks really neat to begin with, but once you've made a blanket with this, or if you're going around and around and you wash it a few times, you don't want it to stretch away out. If you put a stitch in there, that'll stretch out really wide and you'll find that the corners of your blanket goes really wide like that at the tops, at the sides. It's personal preference. So into the next space, put your 3 treble crochets. 1, 2 and 3. Now we're at the corner. You can see your corner here. So into here you're going to put 3 treble crochet, 2 chain and 3 treble crochets. So that's 1, 2 and 3. 2 chain, 1, 2. Don't do the chains too tight. And 3 treble crochets. 1. Get some more of my yarn. 2 and 3. Move to the next space in between your stitches, your clusters. You're going to put your little granny cluster in there, your 3 treble crochets. Work along this side with your clusters in between the clusters that are there already. So into this corner you're going to put your 3 treble crochets, 1, 2 and 3, chain 2, don't do them too tight, chain 2 and 3 treble crochets into that corner, 1, 2 and 3. So you're going to move along in between your clusters again and do your next cluster, 1, 2, pull my yarn out, and 3 and 3, and we're back to the next corner, 3 treble crochet, 2 chain and 3 treble crochet, 2 and 3, chain 2, don't make them too tight, and 3 treble crochet, 1, 2 and 3, and work along this last side, 3. Now we're at that corner. Now remember, we've already got half of it done, so we only need to put 3 treble crochets in, 1, 2 and 3, and do your chain of 2, 1, 2, don't do those too tight, and into the top of this chain 1, 2 and 3, into the 3rd stitch you're going to slip stitch, and that's you finished that square. Now if you want a big blanket, you can continue to do that, go in between each of your clusters and then do your corner, and you can make this as big as you like. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and if you haven't clicked on the bell icon, then click on the bell icon and YouTube will tell you when I put up another tutorial. So until the next time, happy crafting, and I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.